So as we were discussing in the last little video, that after you have a shift in a market, a brand new supply or demand curve, the first thing that it does is it creates this new relationship like we see here. The next thing that it's going to do is, since we're working off a new supply or demand curve and then the old, so in this case we're working off the new demand curve but the old supply curve, and we're still working off the old price, it creates a disequilibrium in some way, shape, or form. In this example, it's creating a disequilibrium because the price is now high enough that the quantity being demanded is less than the quantity being supplied. Because of that, we wind up having a surplus. Whenever there is a surplus around, you must lower prices in order to sell that product. As you are lowering prices, the amount that the producers are willing to supply is falling. And as you're lowering prices, the amount that the consumers are willing to buy is increasing. So you have an increase in the quantity demanded as prices fall, and a decrease in the quantity supplied as prices fall. And whenever they match up again, you're at this new equilibrium, which once you're in the new equilibrium, that price will stay there until another ceteris paribus condition disrupts the equilibrium again. And because of that, we wind up finding a new equilibrium quantity and a new equilibrium price. So a shift causes a new relationship, causes this initial disequilibrium, and then it causes price and quantity to adjust until it finds that new equilibrium. So this leads into a bit of a causality deal. What we see is, with causality, is the way this is working is that you have this change in the ceteris paribus condition originally. You have an external force changing either the supply or demand curve, just like we saw here. Then you have a change in the supply or demand curve. An external force causes a change in the supply or demand curve, and then we see a change in equilibrium price and quantity at the same time. So, and whenever you see this, you see that equilibrium price and quantity change simultaneously. They both change at the same time. As you can see by the arrows, they happen on the same level. What that means is prices never change quantity, and quantity never adjusts prices. So you can't go out and say, well, the prices rose, so the demand is falling. That's incorrect. Or the prices fell, so the supply has risen. That's not correct. What happens is there's a change in the supply or the demand curve that causes change in prices and quantities at the same time. So you can never say price changes supply or demand. You can never say price changes quantity. That is incorrect. What is correct is that a change in the supply or demand curve has adjusted equilibrium price and quantity. Another thing that's correct is you could say that because of a shift in the demand curve, the quantity supplied has changed. And what I mean by that is, as we look here, that because of a shift, this brand new demand curve, we see a change in the quantity that is being supplied. That goes true on the other way around, that if you change the supply curve, the quantity demanded will change. So anytime you see a supply change or supply shift, quantity demanded will change. Anytime you see a demand shift, quantity supplied will change. And that quantity demanded or quantity supplied is a movement along the curve. It moves along the curve. It doesn't create a brand new curve. So just remember at this causality that external force causes a change in the supply or demand, and that change in the supply or demand curve causes both the prices and quantities to change at the same time.